You know, it's occurred to me that not a lot of people really actually know what anxiety is. And I reckon there's a lot of people out there that are suffering from it and have no idea that it's actually anxiety that they're suffering from. It took me a long time, even after stopping drinking, to recognise that I suffered from anxiety because I didn't know what anxiety was. Language is important because I think a lot of what people struggle with is they can't articulate the way that they're feeling. However, sometimes it can be restrictive because we start trying to put labels on things, and mental health doesn't always make sense. And the ways that we feel contradict each other. And so when we try and describe it, we're trying to make sense of it. And sometimes it doesn't actually make proper sense, or it seems like it doesn't make proper sense. So physically, when I describe anxiety, for me, there's different types of it, yeah? People always associate it with worry, right? So people will feel like they can't have anxiety, or it can't be anxiety because they've got nothing to worry about. You don't necessarily need anything to worry about when it comes to anxiety. That's why I like the term overwhelm, because often the anxious feelings I get can be overwhelmed. So I've just got back from ASDA, and people don't believe me, but when I'm in a place like that where there's a lot of people around and I'm trying to concentrate on the list and what I'm doing, I can feel anxious. Now, it's not like the anxiety that sometimes hits me during the day. The anxiety that I feel there kind of manifests itself and comes out of me in anger. I start to feel angry and annoyed, and like everyone's annoying me and winding me up. The baseline cause of that is a type of overwhelm. It's a type of anxiety. I'm struggling with the amount of people that are around while I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. But the most part of it is because there's people around. Now, another type of anxiety that I suffer with or struggle with more often is more of the physical feeling. So it's like the feeling in my stomach. Now, that can manifest itself as wanting to go to the toilet too much, not being able to go to the toilet too much, not understanding what my stomach is trying to tell me. That comes in my chest, and it can feel like my heart's beating too much, or like the people talk about the butterflies in the chest. My son talks about a fizziness, and I get that all over. But I tell you, one of the main things that makes me feel is like a shake. It's like my whole body wants to shake. It's like my whole body's telling me something's wrong. Like it's battling, like my body's struggling to get something. And that's why for a long time I thought it was like a sugar issue, because it felt like my body was telling me there's not enough, I need to get something. And when you're feeling like that sometimes all day, it can come on early in the day and then just worsen, and you can feel like it all day. That's why it becomes quite overwhelming, and it is an overwhelming feeling that I struggle with. And then often people, and one of the contradictions in it is that it can keep you up at night but make you feel really tired in the day. And there are times in the day when it just gets too much for me and I just want to go sleep. I want to just cut off the world and go to sleep. But the point is, some people are suffering with this anxiety seemingly for no reason. Now, you can go into the deep reasons of why people reach a point where they start feeling anxiety and things like that. But for me, even knowing the original core reasons why, or why I believe that anxiety is in my life, it doesn't stop the fact that I have anxiety during the day. So I can seem like I'm anxious for no reason, and it seemingly is no reason. But I do find triggers. There are things that will make me feel anxious. But instead of just telling everyone all the time they should talk about their mental health, we can start by doing it ourselves. Start by talking about the things that make us feel anxious. At its height, my anxiety would make my legs rattle in bed, and my legs would do that. You see people with like what they call, you talk about a nervous twitch, yeah? I would get that, like anxiety would be rattling through my body, especially at night when it feels like it wants to come to life sometimes. And I've learned techniques and things and ways like to get over that, but that's for a whole other video. But it's important to talk about the symptoms and the ways it makes us feel, because there's a lot of people out there now that just feel defective. They feel like they're weak and that they're bad. Because when that feeling of overwhelm and that feeling of anxiety becomes overwhelming and that's strong, it's hard work. It's hard work. And when some people are suffering from it and they don't know why, because a lot of us feel like anxiety is not something we suffer from because we don't comprehend the way that it makes us feel. For instance, children, when they get anxiety, my son will, when he gets anxiety feelings, he then will have to attach the way he's feeling to something. So he often says that he's worried that his brother's going to die for no reason. It's that feeling of impending doom. And so he attaches it to something to try and make sense of it. If you're suffering from anxiety and you know about it and you feel like it's making you weak, it's not. It's not weak to suffer from anxiety. Actually, people that struggle with anxiety are normally the strongest people I know, because every day's a battle. But every day that you battle and that you come over it, though you might not think it, and though you might not know it, and though you might not recognize it, you're actually getting stronger and stronger and stronger, which is an amazing thing in itself. But we need to help people find that strength. We need to help people recognize the greatness in what they're getting themselves through. The conversation needs to become more open, and it needs to become more curious, and it needs to become more explorative. Language needs to be adapted. You need to be able to say you feel like you need to keep busy, but you don't want to do anything. Them contradictions that we feel, you should be able to say them, because that's what I feel like when I'm anxious. Yeah, I feel like, especially that feeling in my chest sometimes, makes me angry. I need people to be around me, and I want them to cuddle me and make me feel safe, but at the same time I don't want anyone around me. And so I'll get angry when someone doesn't get close to me, but I'll get angry when they do get close to me as well. Physically, it makes my body rush, and so I know I feel like I want to get out and just run a mile, but at the same time I want to tuck myself in bed and not move. And so all the contradiction feelings that are there, it's important that we explore them, allow ourselves to think about them, allow ourselves to not need to make sense of it, or not need to get to reason, but just to start articulating what it is, start articulating the ways that it feels, because that is then the beginning of finding the healing from it and finding ways to live with it. You're allowed to have days where you want to hide it as well. So people will often say to me, there's no way you get anxious. I don't believe you, because I act so confident. And trust me, I've just mastered masking my anxiety with confidence. So yeah, I'm going to eat my eggs now anyway.